Hello Hashima, this video is for Thursday, May 28th, and today we're going to be reading the first half of Chapter 9 of Esperanza Rising. This chapter is called Las Ciruelas, which means plums, and as we read today, we're going to think about the challenges that Esperanza is facing and how she responds. So, good readers are able to analyze how characters respond to challenges by looking for ways that they act, how they interact with other people, how they feel, and by looking for clues that the author gives us about those feelings. So this is important for us to do because we know that characters face challenges throughout novels all the time. And in the books that we read, there's usually like the challenges build as the story progresses. So Esperanza's faced a lot of challenges already so far, and those challenges are still continuing now that she's in California on the farm. So the character's response to a challenge, Esperanza's response to the challenges, helps us understand the themes of the story or the big ideas that the author wants us to think about. So you might ask yourself, what's the challenge? How's the character responding? And what can the reader learn from this challenge or response? So I'm going to read the beginning, and we're going to talk about what challenge she's facing and then how she responds to it. And then you can jot that down for question 1 on your Google Forms today. All right. As they walked to the bus stop, Isabel recited a list of concerns to Esperanza, sounding exactly as Josefina and Mama had sounded earlier that morning. Put Pepe down for a nap first, and when he falls asleep, put Lupe down. Otherwise, they will play and never go to sleep, and Lupe will not eat bananas. I know, said Esperanza, repositioning Pepe on her hip. Isabel handed her Lupe and climbed the steps of the yellow bus. She found a seat and waved from the window. Esperanza wondered who was more worried, she or Isabel. Esperanza struggled to carry both babies back to the cabin. Thank goodness Isabel had already helped her feed and dress them. She settled them on a blanket on the floor with some tin cups and wood blocks, then put the beans into a big pot on the stove. Hortensia had prepared them earlier with a big onion and a few cloves of garlic and instructed Esperanza to stir them occasionally and let them cook on low heat, adding more water throughout the day. She stirred the beans and watched Lupe and Pepe play. I wish Abuelita could see me, she thought. She would be proud. Later, Esperanza looked for something to feed the babies for lunch. A large bowl of ripe plums sat on the table. They should be soft enough to eat, she thought. She took several, removed the pit, and mashed them with a fork. Both babies loved them, reaching for more after each spoonful. Esperanza mashed another 3 plums, and they gobbled every bite. She let them have their fill until they started fussing and reaching for the bottle of milk. All right, so I'm going to pause here. Let's think so far about the challenge that Esperanza is facing today. So one challenge is that Isabel had to go off to school and Esperanza is left to care for the babies all by herself. So this is an obstacle for her because it's something she's never done on her own before. So when we think about how she responds, if you look here at the bottom of the page, she thinks about how she wishes Abuelita could see her and how she would be proud. She thinks about how she actually watches Lupe and Pepe. She's not just doing her own thing. She finds things to put on the floor for them to play with. She's following the instructions that were given to her. So even though this is a challenge, she's having some pretty positive feelings about it. So she responds by feeling proud of herself, by feeling like she's following directions, by feeling like she's being a good listener, and by doing what she's supposed to do to overcome her obstacles. She's not giving up or feeling frozen. She's taking action. So this tells us a little bit about Esperanza's character. So we can learn from this that people can do hard things even though they're not used to them, that it's okay when something's new or challenging, you can overcome whatever difficulty is in your way. So that's what I'm thinking as I read this and thinking about what the author might want me to know from Esperanza's challenge. So you're going to read the rest of the section, which is just half of the chapter, and answer some more questions about some of the challenges she's facing. But we just went over question 1, so you can go ahead and fill that in and enjoy the rest of the chapter. We'll see you on Zoom.